Inflicting Inequalities, Chapter 5, The Nature of Prejudice and Discrimination in Everyday Life. But in California, I was an outsider. I'd never known kids who wore crosses or St. Christopher medallions around their neck. Many of my fellow students were Latinx. They had names that sounded different from any I had heard before. Some spoke with unusual accents. Going to a new school is always a somewhat traumatic experience, but I felt like I had landed in a completely different world. The first few days, I ate lunch alone. I found myself wishing we'd never moved and longed for my old life, but I figured sooner or later it had to get better. When the 3 o'clock bell rang that first Friday, I was gleeful. The initial week of school was mercifully over, and a weekend of rest, relaxation, and a Dodger game awaited. My escape was thwarted, however, by another fourth grader who stopped me as I approached the schoolyard gate. Aside from brief kickball-related encounters during recess, I hadn't ever come into contact with this kid. He was much bigger than me, which was not at all that surprising since at the time I was pretty small for my age. He looked like every bully I had ever seen on TV. It wouldn't have surprised me if his name was Butch or Rocky or Spike. He asked me what my name was, and I told him, "Hey, you're a new man around here. Get it?" He laughed at his own joke, apparently convinced that combining my last name with my status was the school was hilarious. "Yeah, I am," I replied. "Good one." As he sized me up, he asked, "So, what are you, new man?" At first, I didn't know what he was getting at and flashed a "what do you mean" look. "You know, what church do you go to?" I paused. "I don't think we go to a church." In retrospect, this equivocal response was pretty stupid. I know. Either you go or you don't go. But I was surprised by the question, so I choked a bit. "Everybody goes to church, dumbass." Ah, ah, ah. Don't you say that. He shouted in disbelief. At this point, a few other kids, his henchmen, I surmised, began to mill around. "So which one do you go to?" For some reason, he decided that pressing me with the same question, only louder and closer to my face, would produce the response he was looking for. "I told you, we don't go to church," I said with all the sternness I could muster. He looked at me as if I was speaking a different language and pivoted away, no doubt baffled by what to him was an incomprehensible response. Maybe he thought I came from a family of atheists and would leave. I could live with that. But after a few steps, he spun around, dashing any hopes I had that the encounter was ending. "Are you Jew, new man? Are you a Jew man?" More evil laughs from the entourage to his feeble attempt at humor. I wish I had said something a movie tough guy would say at that point. Like, "Yeah, what's it to you, punk? You want to make something of it?" Instead, I just nodded pathetically, vainly trying not to call attention to what I was quickly realizing was my seriously tainted identity. He paused for a second, as if to weigh the magnitude of this new information. Then he punched me in the face and walked away. It's been over 50 years since that incident occurred, and it still makes my stomach flip to think about it. I wonder a lot about why exactly it happened, and what I could have done to stop it. The physical sting of his blow, which harmlessly landed on my cheekbone, wasn't nearly as painful as the humiliation I felt. Why was being Jewish such a punishable offense? How could he have worked up so much hostility without knowing anything about me, other than my religion? There was hardly any Jews in this area, so it was unlikely that I reminded him of other kids in school he already despised. Maybe his parents were neo-Nazi sympathizers who taught him to hate Jews and other people who were different. In the end, I resigned myself to the uneasy fact that I got punched in the face by someone who probably had no clue as to why he did it. Wow. While his motivation has always remained a mystery to me, what was distinctly not mysterious was that I had been tagged as an outsider. Like most kids that age, all I wanted was to blend in. Being the new kid in school was bad enough. Being the new kid who was unlike anyone else was childhood hell. As fate would have it, a few days later, I was standing in line at an ice cream truck after school. A girl standing in front of me turned around and out of the blue asked, "What religion are you?" Jeez, I thought to myself, what is it with these people and their obsession with religion? This time, though, I was ready. I had learned my lesson. I didn't hesitate. "I'm Catholic," I lied. Perhaps the most insidious aspect of being targeted on the basis of some aspect of social identity, be it race, ethnicity, class, gender, sexuality, or religion, is the effect it has on one's self-concept. From that day on, through the rest of elementary school and well into high school, I tried mightily to hide my ethnic religious identity. I was now ashamed of who I was. Of course, my closest friends knew and accepted me, though I did get annoyed by their constant attempts to fix me up with the one Jewish girl in our high school. But for everyone else, I denied, I evaded, and I concealed. I became quite adept at anticipating the trajectory of conversations, and if I sensed that talk was veering toward religion or some other topic that might reveal my identity, I deftly shift it to something safer. I'd deftly shift it to something safer. It was stressful, to be sure, although what happened to me from 4th grade through high school may not match the intensity of the deep personal hatred and institutional disadvantage felt by racial, ethnic, gender, and sexual minorities. It did show me the external hostility and internal self-loathing that can arise from day-to-day dealings with difference and equality. Inequality. You see that, folks? This guy's Caucasian. Jews are Caucasian, basically. And it doesn't tell you what this bully was, but I'm assuming he was Caucasian too. You know what I'm saying? And for some reason, he had a superiority complex, walking around calling people out of their true identity as if he was someone. I don't understand people like that. I really don't. But what I do understand is until they're made to feel like they make people feel, they generally never learn their lesson. Pretty much. So it's sad that you have to stoop to the level of an ignoramus in order to help them to understand how wrong their ideology in life is. It's very sad, but it is what it is. In this chapter, I will examine personal experience of prejudice and discrimination. It will serve as an introduction to the remaining chapters of this part of the book, which will examine in more detail the inequalities that exist in a variety of institutional areas of human life, including the economy and work, law and justice, and health and illness. With all due respect to the craftsmen of the Declaration of Independence, Opportunities to achieve life and liberty and to pursue happiness have never been disputed equally in this country. You can say that again. Never. And for some, it's been taken away. Although some groups have been able to transcend the status of despised minority, others continue to suffer. Yeah, like African Americans have never been given equal opportunity to thrive, but they've been given equal opportunity to be exploited, just like they treated the Jews, the Native Americans, the Italians, the whoever basically came over here that wasn't Eastern European, or is it Western European? I think it's Eastern. Yeah. If you're not from England and France, places like that, you wasn't accepted. You wasn't. Not initially. After a while, they began to accept people, but not initially. So, it's the American way to discriminate and to utilize prejudice for no reason at all. No justifiable reason, that is. Go figure. Maybe we can make it better. Maybe it'll all start with this video. Maybe. Praise Yah. Stereotypes. The building blocks of bigotry. The early 20th century political commentator Walter Lippmann, 1922, was one of the first writers to use the word stereotype, which he defined as an oversimplified picture of the world, one that satisfies our need to see our social environment as a more understandable and manageable place than it really is. Wow. So that's what a stereotype is. An individual's personal depiction of the outside world, generated to give them a better understanding of those things that he encountered. Manageable place, understandable and manageable. Yeah. Those pinks, they always want to be in control of everything. Manageable. Makes sense. They want to manage everything. If they can't control it, they'll try to destroy it. Just look at history. It's been seen time and time again. When are we going to learn? And the worst part about it is the ones who think that just because they look like the elite, that they still hold those same rights and privileges as they do. Sweetheart, your privilege is slowly leaving because they're turning you into the new slave, taking away all your rights and the few privileges that you had as an American, and making you dependent on a system that will never allow you to be more than what you are. Yeah, that's what's going on. The destruction of the middle class. Hello. And some people going left and some people going right. Which direction are you going in? If you vote Republican, you're going to be going left. As in the wrong way. You done left from sensibilities, because that's the direction that they're pushing everyone into in order to destroy us. If you're heading right, how about you reach back and try to guide someone that's going left? Help them along so we can be a middle class country. That's what it should be. It's ridiculous, man. They're making millions of dollars a year. Millions of dollars. And we're struggling. We're struggling. We need to turn it around. It's double up time. Double the rate. Whatever you're making right now, it need to be doubled. Yeah, doubled. And then on top of that, half the taxes. And rich people need to pay twice the taxes that they paying now. Maybe even 3 times. I'm hearing they only pay 8%, whereas we're getting hit with 20 and then getting some of that back, maybe. So for them to pay 24%, yeah, that would take the country out of debt. Take the country right out of debt. Right out of debt. We've been hearing about they haven't been paying their fair share. How can you support someone who doesn't support you? The Republican Party does not support the working American. They're the main ones trying to destroy the middle class. Why would you kiss they? Yeah, exactly. Why would you do that? That's exactly what you're doing when you support them. Crazy. History has shown us the Democratic Party has always at least gave us some crumbs so we can survive and thrive a little bit. Republicans in office, everything gets taken back. Democrats get back in office, and we got to start building back over again. Come on, people. It don't take that long to figure this thing out. I figured it out, and y'all think we not too bright. So, what's taking you so long to figure it out? Trump supporter? Because definitely, you're an idiot. If you're not rich and you support Trump and his cronies, you're dumb, 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 dumb girl or boy, dumb, 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 dumb with a capital D. Dumb, stupid as can be. You a clown. Yeah, because they do not support you, nor your family. They're all about making you suffer. So why would you support them? That's ludicrous. And I don't mean the rapper. Anyway, let's get it together, folks. We got to do away with the evil in America. All right? The Republican Party, the GOP, brand old party. Really? Just some good old boys. All they mean is harm. You better ask somebody if you don't know.